Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Shannon Salmon-Haas, San Antonio, Instagram influencer and cringy grandma, who is helping Thru Project, and also Erin Garcia, who is the programs manager. And this is the legacy segment. Marquardt Law Firm sponsors Talk Law Radio, and attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. So, Erin, I want to ask you about your legacy, and then we'll go back to talking more about Shannon's question about the mentors and the mentees. So, is there some family values that you learned from those who have gone before you, or is there some special family heirloom that means a lot to you? Or do you want to talk about the impact that you want to make on the community that's going to last a long time?
Yeah, I know Shannon kind of mentioned this part. I was like, let me think about what, of course, like I want my legacy to be, of course, like I want to be remembered for, the contributions that I made to the world and the works that I've done for especially like young adults and children. But, as like I'm getting older, my parents are getting older, we're really trying to see like, what can they pass on to me that I can then eventually pass on? And so my dad's an accountant, been an accountant, same firm since I was born. And my brother's now getting into accounting as well too. So I know like that's their established thing that my dad wants to pass on to him. But for my dad and I, ours is a little bit more fun. We want to start a snow cone business. It's always been like a little...
No kidding.
Yeah, a little side dream of ours to own our own snow cone shop or truck or something along those lines. And so it's something that we've been talking about, but he's like, I want to start a business with you that you can take on and carry that on to somebody else. And I've been a snow cone lover forever. And it's something too, where if I did that, I would love to, do like nonprofit events and, anything like that, go to schools, go to somewhere fun and, kind of pass that joy on to somebody else. And so that's my dream for my legacy.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it reminds me of my very first business idea in high school. There was a snow cone booth that a lot of high school kids would go to. And a friend and I, we came up with this idea how we would compete with that business because we really wanted to do that too. And this was before food trucks were a thing. And so we actually found like this tiny little booth that was on a tiny little trailer. And so I asked my dad if he would invest in our company so that we could buy that for our snow cone business. And he said no, that we could still start the business. He just didn't want to invest in it. He said, well, why don't you sell snow cones out of the back of your car? And we just thought, no, I don't think we're going to be able to compete with the guy that has a snow cone stand. And so it was a bit frustrating, but it led to my second business, which was a lawn care business. And we were somewhat successful with that. It gave us some pocket money to go to the movies and stuff. But this show is not about that. That's a wonderful legacy. I'm glad that you and your dad have something fun in mind, and I hope that you'll keep me updated because I would love to help you if I can somehow. So Shannon was asking you about mentors. Tell us about your mentor program and what are your needs for that right now?
Yeah, so Thru Project, we started off as a mentorship program. That's the largest program that we have, and how we're able to serve. I think we're serving about almost 200 young adults through our mentorship program, and we're always looking for anybody that's willing to give their time, energy, and love to somebody. In our program. And so to become a mentor, you have to be at least 24 years old. There's an application on our website, some training to do where, we kind of lay it all out there of what to expect with the mentorship program and, what these young adults might be coming to you with. And of course, a background check. But from that point on, as far as the mentorship goes, the mentoring goes, it's really up to you and your mentee. Our mentees come to us with some goals in mind, what they're looking for out of this mentorship program. We share that with the mentor, and we really let y'all establish that relationship with each other. At minimum, we ask that you stay in contact, of course, meet up with each other at least once a month in person. But for mentees, we say the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. But we're always looking for, those volunteers that want to give their time to somebody in our program. And a lot of mentors that come to us, have lived experience in foster care, which is great, have been foster parents in the past, or they're just, older parents. They've already raised their adult children and they have a lot of love to give, and they want to give that back to somebody else that, might not be as fortunate. So we're always looking for anybody that's willing to, volunteer their time with us, especially male mentors right now. That's where Shannon mentioned we're lacking a little bit on the male mentor side, but really anybody that wants to give their time, we really, really appreciate it. We've had mentorships that are going on 5+ years, really, and it's come to the point where it's not even a mentee mentor, relationship anymore. It's a family relationship, and
Right.
so, yeah.
Nice. Well, Shannon, I want to ask you about your passion for foster kids again. For those who are listening that don't know, please explain how you became so passionate about foster kids and Thru Project and other organizations.
I worked for the department many, many years ago, so I was always aware on some level of the system, but I actually got a job working for the department on the legal side, in the legal department, and it was just, can I be really blunt that it's just a really dark system. It's a dark world. Every day at work, you just hear sad story after sad story. There's a lot of burnout, there's a lot of trauma, even like a secondhand trauma. You're not actually experiencing it, but as a judge or as an attorney, you're just hearing over and over again. It seems like there's no light anywhere. And then something will happen where you hear of these amazing success stories, or you see the mentor and the mentee together, and the mentee is just raving about how they feel so loved and supported, and it would just always connect back to this organization where they're just kind of a light in a dark place. So they can't really fix everything and change everything and just wave their magic wand. But every time there'd be that glimmer of hope, or where you hear of children aging out of the system and then just excelling, going to college and reaching their goals, Thru Project would always be involved. And it just made me remember how much love and support I had, just to get me here. I'm standing on all the love and support that was poured into me. And when you're in that system, you see how kids can just be stripped of everything. Sometimes there's not a great grandma. They can't find anybody. There's not a cousin third removed. It's just a child facing the world. And so people like Thru Project and the loving, kind people over there, just it's a sad
Awesome.
system, but it just blows you away when you see that light.
Shannon, can you help us learn a little bit of gospel? Did you
Oh,
find
okay.
the Bible verse about the orphans and widows?
I believe it's Timothy. My friend, it's such a coincidence because my friend had just sent this to me. I don't think she would mind me sharing that she's a widow. And so this brought her a lot of joy. It's First Timothy 5:8, and all people of faith have an obligation. I mean, I know you feel that in your heart. You don't need to read it in black and white. I know that you just feel it, that we all have an obligation to widows and children and people that are not as don't have everything that we sometimes take for granted.
Awesome. Well, the last thing I'm going to talk about before the end of the show is that movie Lemony Snicket's with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have both of you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, but
I
don't quiz me on
I
it.
watched it a lot
Oh,
when
good.
it came out.
Yeah, because you're so young, Erin. I wasn't sure if you had seen it because one of the other attorneys in my office hadn't seen it. And I said, if you're going to practice estate planning, you have to watch this movie because what happens is that these children, their parents pass away. And so they're orphans. And the law says who gets to be the guardian or who is eligible, and ends up being the nearest relative. And you find out what the word nearest means is not the closest relative in terms of love and affection or even lineage. If you're a parent of children, you need to name a guardian in your last will and also in a designation in advance of need for a guardian. That's it for today. Erin Garcia from Thru Project, thank you for joining us. Shannon, as always, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
We'll
having
talk
us.
to you later.
Bye.
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 This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.